I want to thank the panel for and the previous panel for your hard work toward the goal of ending homelessness for our veterans. And Ranking Member Michaud, I want to thank you and Chairman Miller for your leadership on the committee. Chairman Lambert, I want to thank you and all my colleagues and the committee staff for your hard work. This has been one of the most productive committees in the 113th Congress, and thank you for that. For my final remarks in the 113th Congress on this committee, I want to read an email I got this morning. It's from a gentleman, William Putnam, who's the former trustee of Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, who has just now moved to New Hampshire. So if the committee will bear with me, he says, Ann, I just had a wonderful experience at the VA hospital in Manchester near here. Some 5 or 6 years ago, I gave up on the VA after it became clear to me that all the people wanted was to take more chest x-rays of me. I figured I must glow in the dark already, and that piece of iron hasn't shifted its position inside me since the day it got there in the first place, nearly 70 years ago. However, I'll give them another chance, thought I. So I made an appointment and got there in the rain, at 10 a.m., but hardly had I found a place to park my car than some guy with a courtesy van showed up to offer me a ride some 250 yards to the main entrance. He was right there again when I wanted to go back. I found my way inside, and some other nice guy directed me down a long hall and around a few corners to a waiting room where I showed my paperwork to another polite guy behind a computer. He poked away at his machine, and in a matter of less than a minute, a little man appeared in a nearby doorway and called my name. He introduced himself and said, "Follow me down to our office area. I think you'll find the weather is better there." In fact, it wasn't raining at his end of the building, and it turned out he was the head technician for Primary Care PAC Team 2, of which Dr. Carter Hale is the leader. Dr. Hale was ready for me and did a few more of the usual high-level medical inquiries. He was a nice guy, friendly, knowledgeable, and radiated a sincere desire to be helpful to an old vet with all the miseries of a tired and lonesome man, and Mr. Putnam just recently lost his wife. After his examination, Dr. Hale took me to a nurse's cubicle where he left me to go write up his analysis, and the lady shot me full of flu vaccine, then pointed me down the hall to where the real bloodthirsty ones were. They were really nice about it too, and finally, it's been nearly 2 hours so far, told me I could go home. The pharmacy people would be in touch with me soon. I had barely gotten back home, when a 20-minute drive, when my cell phone rang. I now have a date with the pharmacy people for next Tuesday. You know, Ann, I misspent much of my youth here in Cow, Hampshire. It's kind of nice to feel home again, but mostly I thought you might enjoy hearing a nice thing said about the Veterans Administration. I had his permission to read this, and I want to congratulate Ms. Kuster. She's getting a great constituent. So thank you very much. I yield back.
Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Kirkpatrick. And that leads to Representative Kuster.
Well, after that, I'd take the risk, but thank you very much. And I think it is appropriate, and I, too, want to commend our chair, Mr. Miller, and Mr. Michaud, and just what an extraordinary experience this has been for me as a new member. Both my husband and I have experienced this incredible pride and honor. My father was in World War II. He was a pilot, flew 63 missions and was shot down on Christmas Eve and spent 6 months in a POW camp. And my father-in-law was landing on the beaches of Normandy when my father was flying overhead. They were both in the Battle of the Bulge. And so this has just been an extraordinary experience for me as a member of Congress to be able to serve on this committee. So I really don't have any additional questions. I want to thank you for the work that you're doing. I certainly want to thank my colleague, Ms. Kirkpatrick, for that beautiful letter. And I just want to say that of the people that are out there working for the Veterans Administration, for HUD, for all the private organizations, all of our VSOs, to meet people from organizations like Soldier On. I just want our veterans to know how much we do care, how much we do want to solve. This is the most complex issue. Poverty, the issues of the brain, having dealt with mental health in our family, issues of employment, PTSD, MST, the list goes on and on. And I just want our veterans to know that we have the most bipartisan committee in the 113th Congress, and I hope in the next Congress as well, and that there are people here in Washington, D.C. who care a great deal. So I thank you for the work that you do. I thank my colleagues, and I just want to thank the chair and the vice chair for the opportunity to work with you this year. Thank you so much.